Okay, folks, it's turn 31. This has been an interesting one. So we cast Augury. We found no new magic sites. We were attacked by assassins who killed a scout and a commander in Satis. That is actually a guild master, so he is a national Satis hero, the leader of the Empoisoners Guild, who is very stealthy and very assassiny, and generally really good. He's also a very powerful mage, so that's a fantastic Worthy Heroes edition. We attacked Phlegra, and that battle went just fine. We were against just province defense. They weren't patrolling with anything, and we basically accomplished exactly what we had hoped to do. Our knights went in and killed, and they chopped through these crappy Heelot warriors. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Heelot warriors, but when Heelot warriors are unsupported and unbuffed, they die pretty quick to elite knights like this. So the elite knights ran in with their weird bless, their weird undead leadership plus 60 bless, chopped through the Heelots with little problem. We lost 2 knights to the Chalice and 3 swordsmen, and we wiped the enemy province defense. In Marignan, we got a whole bunch of free gems, which is fantastic. In the Forgotten Woods, we got some blood slaves and money, which is also fantastic. And then in God's Tomb Mountains, we got the Sectarian Movement event, which is less fantastic, but we'll burn that bridge when we come to it. So, in terms of what we want to do right now, well, I've had a long and sort of difficult discussion with Pythium, who was, of course, attacking Phlegra. They've got a big old army here, and their army looks much, much larger and stronger than mine, because it is. This army is fairly small and weak. And what I've done, basically, is I have run, it's kind of half a bluff and half a legitimate threat. So, I'm besieging Phlegra. It's going to take a long time to do any real damage, because my siege strength is only 43, and the wall is 750, and they have some kind of defense in there. Probably not a huge amount, but some kind. So that's lowering my speed as well. What I'm doing here is I'm actually pulling back, because I am gathering troops and mages from all around the place. So, Cannabis, these two guys carrying a bunch of gems are all coming down here to join Roberto. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'm teleporting in Soars for 7. We have 7 mages popping into Duvan with a whole bunch of fire gems. Those mages will basically be used to crap out fire elementals. That gives me a total of 9 mages. That's actually a somewhat frightening mage core when they can all cast Summon Fire Elemental, because Summon Fire Elemental is a fantastic spell. 1 second. I'm sorry, if you notice any weirdness with the sound, I'm kind of messing with my microphone settings to see if I can figure out how to solve the popping issue. I'm hopeful that this will do it. I've altered my gain, and I've altered how I'm seated relative to the mic, so hopefully it'll be a little bit less intrusive. So in any case, Satis is breached. We're waiting for one more turn to let Guide get up there. One of those assassinations, I think, was in... Oh, one of those assassinations was in Norfangs, and then... Yeah, the other was here in Carian. So that's a little bit frightening, but we're just gonna freaking go for it. Just roll deep. Hopefully the odds are good that he won't hit Guide, and if he does hit Guide, Guide might, with all these gems and the high level fire, Guide might have the bright idea to summon a fire elemental. Cross your fingers, knock on wood. He'll probably just buff the shit out of himself first, but he might at some point summon a fire elemental. And summoning fire elementals can win you assassinations, so you're just hoping. I'm also starting to do something that I haven't done yet, because I'm worried about Pythium. So we had this argument, we had this face-off, and basically I said, look, if you try to push me off Phlegra, I'm going to pull back, gather a ton of mages, because I can teleport in mages and run mages in from far away and yada yada yada. And then I'll bury you in fire elementals, and your troops do badly against fire elementals, so I'll win. I actually don't know for a fact that I would win, but I am going to end up with pretty significant numbers of troops and mages here. Like, this is, this is 100 troops or so, and 7 mages with a whole bunch of fire gems, plus these guys, so I think I could at least make a really good showing of it. I can't promise that I would win, but I would definitely do my level best. So, and I would cause damage to him, and he's like, he says he's cash strapped. He's like worried about the fact that he has no money. That's Pythium right there, by the by. So we are actually pushing on him pretty hard, because we're within 2 steps of his capital right here in Winter Peaks. It would be a good peace offering to offer him Winter Peaks, but I don't want him having Winter Peaks, so I'm not doing that. I'm pumping out some chaff infantry up here. I've got my little dude Sarazan's moving down here to the Forgotten Woods. The war between Relay and Uruk continues apace. That's fine. They can do that. I don't really care what they do themselves. And yeah, I'm going to gather all these troops, move them onto Phlegra turn 32, so they'll be there turn 33. Starting to kick down the wall. And I'm pumping out as many crossbows as I can. We're now moving into full crossbow spam. Crossbow spam is Marignon's signature. And so I'm churning out, I'm not even sure exactly how many this is, but that's like 20-something I'm churning out like 60, between 60 and 80 crossbows per turn now from these 3 forts. And I don't intend to stop. I intend to do that a lot. And I'm also recruiting 3 assassins. So, assassins are pretty mediocre. They're not impressive. They're just humans. But, they have full slots. And so I'm trying something silly. I've got 3 assassins. I'm forging 3 Scepters of Authority, which enable them to cast Combustion, a spell which sets a guy on fire. And I'm also forging 3 handfuls of Acorns, which will give them little vine men dudes that will accompany them. So, my grand strategy here, is to have a bunch of assassins with Scepters of Authority and handfuls of acorns, and when they go into assassinations, the Vine Men will draw attacks while they set the enemy on fire and watch him burn to death. And since mages are unscripted in assassinations, and fire resist spells are limited to a couple of magical paths that also not preferentially cast, I'm hoping that by doing this, my assassins will be able to more or less just murder enemy mages and basic commanders at will, because the Vine Men will kind of keep them at bay while they slowly burn to death. That's the goal. We'll see if it works. It might not. One second, I do need to adjust my microphone just a little bit. Okay. Yeah, that's a little bit better. I needed to be slightly closer. So that's the plan. I'm moving all these guys down here. We're going to gather a ton of fire gems, roll into Phlegra, spam out a crap ton of crossbows to back them up, build up a huge flaming arrows / fire elemental army here, and take the Phlegran capital, which will give me earth and death income in addition to a couple more fire, and that will be fantastic. I wish I could recruit Phlegran tyrants from there, but I can't, unfortunately. Or Elder Cyclops, for that matter. Having Elder Cyclops would be fantastic. It's only too bad that I can't recruit those national units. So, that is the plan. Over here, I'm working on... I also have Foul Vapors access. I have that access, and I have Water Gems, and I have Nature income. So, if I ever get... I can at some point start casting Foul Vapors in battle, especially because I have that Poison Resist Bless. So, I die from it. My Sacreds die from it more slowly than pretty much anyone else, which is sort of hilarious. From Marignon. So that is definitely a strategy that I can carry out and that other people might not expect. And that'll be very, very nice. So in any case, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in turn 32. We'll see how this works out. I still have a non-aggression pact with Pythium. We have a NAP 3. We'll see how far that goes. Ooh, Fungus Forest. We'll see how well that holds. That is a question that I have right now, is how well that is going to hold, and I don't frankly know. So we'll find out, I guess, how well how much a non-aggression pact binds Pythium's player. But in any case, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in turn 32. Okay, turn 32. Diplomacy has gotten very, very complicated down here. Obviously, Pythium is not happy with me moving in on Phlegra. Man is also not happy with me moving in on Phlegra, and sent me a message basically saying, hey, by the way, I'm going to come take Phlegra whether you like it or not. And I said, yeah, sure, bro, come on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I got 9. All of these guys have got at least 4 gems. I've got more on the way. I've got this guy on the way, and this guy on the way. I'll have more gems by the time we get down there. So I can put out the fire elementals to, I think, stop a man's army cold. Now, obviously that won't be 100%, but I've also got a pretty okay contingent of flanking knights, and of course I've got quite a number of crossbows, who we are actually going to split off into another squad there, because those swordsmen should be up front. So, 2 squads of swordsmen, 3 squads of bows, so I've got 20, 30, yeah, I've got close to 50 crossbows, about 40 infantry, and 17 knights total. And I can back them up with a bunch of fire elementals. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. The AI says 15 fire elementals before I run out of gems. But honestly, I think this guy will run out of gems at that point. Cannabis, however, should be able to keep chugging. So I set him on conservative magic gem usage, because he'll only be spending 50 fatigue per fire boy. And same thing for swords. He should be able to keep rolling. And I've got, who is casting flaming arrows? Cannabis is also casting flaming arrows to give my crossbows a little bit of extra punch. We've got more troops rolling in as we speak. Another 28 crossbows right there, so we'll get him rolling. And we've got another 24 crossbows and some knights moving there. And up here, 3 turns away, unfortunately, we've got 40 more units. So yeah, we're going to be able to bring a little bit of the thunder here. Little bit of pain. I may want to start recruiting flagellants, just for chaff's sake, because I can recruit 5 flagellants a turn here without hurting myself at all, and I could do the same thing here. And that just gets me just a little bit of infantry chaff. They're garbage. They will always be garbage, but just by having 10 free guys that I can just toss in the way every turn, that will be good for me. Since I'm not recruiting knights right now, because they're expensive. So we'll be pumping out 15 flagellants per turn, that'll be fine. He's moving down here to upgrade that. We're upgrading this fortress, because this is where we have the enchantresses. We're out of money, unfortunately, but we are also storming the castle at Cetis this turn. This guy might die, because his disease has really, really injured him. But Thrummel is really helping people not be diseased. Like, he is helping. Unfortunately, he is now himself diseased, and as a consequence, I am going to need him to run, because there's so many afflictions here. I think his odds of healing himself are fairly low. So many diseases, so many afflictions. It's so terrible fighting Cetis' Dominion. But as soon as I kill this province, I believe Cetis' Dominion should vanish. So, Thrummel, cross your fingers, knock on wood that he'll be alright. Like I said, I may need to move him out of the province for a turn so to guarantee that he heals himself. Because the only way to guarantee he heals himself is to put him in a province with less than 5 other units. And then once the Dominion is gone, I can hop him back in and have him work to heal my commanders. But for now, I'm going to move Thrummel out just to prevent that from happening. But this is a pretty significant army. Lots and lots of crossbows, a number of knights and a few infantry up front, and of course lots of fire elementals, my favorite. You can just stay there. But yeah, I've got, 60, 70, that's actually almost 80, 100, couple hundred crossbows. As well as, that's about 30 knights, about 50 knights, and some random infantry just kind of tossed in there. So we should definitely be able to storm Cetis without any trouble here. And that is basically the whole turn. Relay and Uruk continue to battle. Uruk seems to be pushing back. There was a battle in Dead Marshes. Let's view that battle to see if anything interesting happened. I haven't viewed it yet. So, pretty significant Urukian army. Erishtinger, several Eristingers, a number of Mashimashus as well, with some Maidens of the Moon guarding them. On the other side, we've got a pretty sizable pack of Illithids, but no chaff. And Uruk also has a bunch of Enkidu Iron Warriors, some more Maidens of the Moon, 3 Mushushu Chariots, and a gang of Enkidu Archers. Yeah, I don't see this going well for Relay, to be honest. I mean, we know Uruk wins, but The interesting question will be, how bad did they win? They're getting mind burned away. They're doing an excellent job stopping the infantry from attacking them, but it's not enough. Just not enough. Didn't manage to cause enough damage, so they are routed off the field. Lost 8 of their illithids and actually caused no damage, because, of course, all those paralyzed attacks weren't causing actual damage, and so all of these units were fine. So, yeah. Interesting. Norphax is a great fortress for me, except I just can't actually afford to do anything with it right at the moment, because all of my resources are going into pumping out units down here in order to pour them south towards Phlegra. And after that, I may well end up in a war with Man. So that will be interesting. Might be able to hold off Man. What I'd actually kind of like to do at this point would be to turn on Uruk, because Uruk is already under attack by Relay, and Relay is causing them problems, so if I were to turn on them, I might be able to carve off a whole big chunk of their territory and possibly even get their capital. That's also Man, by the way. So we'll see. I've made nice with Abyssia. We have a NAP 2. I still have a non-aggression pact with Pythium, although I'm a little bit scared that he's going to break that. Vanarus is under siege by Abyssia over here and taking a lot of damage. Where is actual Pythium? Like for real Pythium. I knew where it was previously. There it is. I'm going to send this guy up to Pythium in order to try and infiltrate them and see how well they're doing. And I've got my assassins, my Set You on Fire with Vine Men assassins. And so they are going to sneak down to Phlegra, and their business will be assassinating enemy commanders when this army of Man moves up. Not sure how long he's going to take to build up his troops. I'm actually going to move this guy over here for right now to see if I can see what's happening in these provinces. So if I can try to guess whether Man is going to take one more turn to build up. I don't know. I really don't. But I've got like 100 units here, approximately, with that 18, 29, 37, 58, 66, 76, 96. Yeah, just about 100 units. And then, of course, I've got another more passels of units coming. So in about 2 or 3 turns, I'll be up to about 200. I don't know if that's going to be quick enough. And of course, I also have to worry about this fort over here launching longbow invasions of me, but we'll burn that bridge when we come to it. What I would love if Man moved in to try and attack me, and my 3 assassins over here started murdering his mages right before the battle, because that would disrupt him hugely, especially because Man in the Middle Age is a communion nation. They're spell singers with nature magic. They have a special Spellsinger Nature communion spell. And so, if we can murder some of their daughters of Avalon who are their communion slaves, then the mothers and or crones of Avalon end up not having the slaves to cast their spells effectively, and it turns into a cluster for them. As for their units, they've got longbows, which are fairly effective against me. Their infantry is pretty crap. They've got basically independent spearmen, and then they've got long spears, which are also independent spearmen. They've got Logrian warriors, which aren't bad. They do have the axe and the javelin, so they're a lot like Heelot warriors, but with higher morale and a lot more expensive. They've got Tower Guard. Tower Guard are pretty solid. Solid heavy infantry, well, medium infantry. Okay protection, decent defense skill, somewhat like my men-at-arms. If we look at do I have any men-at-arms in this army? I don't. If we look at my men-at-arms have heavier armor. I mean, my men-at-arms are a little bit better, but they're comparable to the Tower Guard, and the Tower Guard also have a defensive function in defending castles. Foresters, stealthy archers, they're pretty cool. I like him. He might have a whole bunch of these and I would never know. Logrian cavalry, medium cavalry, low protection, decent defense skill. They have a lance charge and they have a javelin. Wardens of Avalon, these are their sacreds. Wardens of Avalon have very high protection, and a very powerful attack. So they're solid. They're also stealthy and bodyguards. So they have a couple of cool little abilities. They have the Knights of Man, which are comparable to my knights. And then they have the Knights of Avalon, which are also comparable to my knights. but have recuperation, so they're very solid. They also have the Alicorn Horn, which is a magical piercing attack. 12, 12, 17, 18 is a pretty good stat line. If we compare to my Knights of the Chalice have 13, 15, 18. So they're a little bit better, but they don't have as many attacks. My Royal Guard have a similar stat line, but higher protection. So my Knights one-on-one will beat Man's Knights. The question is it going to be one-on-one? This is a tiny little force, Wardens and Terracotta Soldiers. I'm not scared of it, so I'm thinking they're probably going to need 1 or 2 more turns to build up, which will definitely give me time to get onto Phlegra, and hopefully will give me enough time to get my assassins down here and start murdering his commanders to prevent him from accomplishing anything. That would be the ideal. I am recruiting another round of commanders. We're going to give them some gear once again, spending some more gems, forging a couple handfuls of acorns, a coral blade, which is a melee weapon that causes bleeding and gives the assassin magical attacks, so very useful. I'm also forging 1 more Scepter of Authority. That would be gear for 2 guys, 1 with a scepter, 1 with a coral blade. And so what I might do here is I might actually only recruit 2, and then recruit a basic scout with my last no, I might as well recruit the assassin. I've got the gold for it. There we go. So that is going to be the turn, and we'll see how it goes. I think I can fight a war with man if he insists on it and be fine. And we'll see if I'm right. I've been wrong about these things before. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in turn 33. Hey folks, welcome back to Accidental Ascension 2, and looky here. Big pile of Relayan Illithids and Meteorite Guards coming to attack me for some reason. I'm really not sure why this is happening. But, for whatever reason, they decided to do it. And so, of course, the Illithids massacred everyone with their Mind Blasts, which is pretty unexceptional. Like, that's what tends to happen with Illithids, especially if you have a lot of them. So they attacked Nirn. The Illithids and the Illithid Lord. They had 16 Illithids, who are expensive, of course. This is 800 gold worth of Illithids, plus an Illithid Lord, and then 18 Meteorite Guard, who are also not super cheap. They are slaves, but they're kind of expensive slaves. 13 gold, 33 resources, 16 recruitment points. They do have low upkeep costs due to being slaves. And they're tough. They have 19 protection and a very good Meteorite Trident magical attack. But they are expensive. So this is honestly a pretty expensive army. Like, that's like 1,000 some gold. I don't know why he did this. I sent him a message basically saying, get out of my territory, and he seemed to agree. So I'm collapsing a whole bunch of crossbows on this province, basically just to learn him. This many crossbows set to fire archers can definitely kill his Illithids. Illithids are large targets, and they don't have much by way of defense against crossbow bolts, and Relay does not have any other archers, so any fire archers order automatically targets their mages, who have a Mind Blast attack and are thus archers, and their Illithids, who have a Mind Blast attack and are thus archers, as the game considers them. So we're doing that, and we're going to push him out of our territory here. We might take Farah as well. I basically told him, like, go fight Uruk, stop trying to fight me, or if you do, I will take your fort. Which I can definitely do. He has Star Children, who are assassins and can't have water bottles, so that can be annoying, but I can deal with assassins. Like, I just took Satis. Obviously, I can deal with assassins. Speaking of which, I just took Satis. Let's see this battle. So, we've got a big old huge pile of knights right at this front. We've got a couple hundred crossbows, a whole bunch of mages scattered around back there. Defending Satis, who is AI, remember, so this is not going to be perfect defense. We've got a bunch of light infantry up on the walls, but this is Satis's defense. Some poisoned slingers. In the back, we have not much left. Really not much left. He's got 1 Marshmaster. He's got his Prophet, who is a Sobek. He is actually, this is another hero. He's a naturally holy 3, and then he's been prophetized, making him holy level 4. And he's the leader of the Sobeks. And then he's got some elite warriors and some wolves and some horned serpents, just random nature summons that he's summoned up, and 1 Mound King. So this is not hard. Crossbow bolts in, fire elementals in, flaming arrows in, knights charging through, murdering everyone, and the fire elementals didn't even actually do anything. Yay! I lost 2 commanders somehow. I don't know how or why, but I did. I lost 2 of my crossbowmen. I lost 5 Knights of the Chalice, presumably some to friendly fire, and then I lost a Royal Guard and 3 Men-at-Arms. The enemy only got 4 kills, so yeah. Some of those were friendly fire, definitely from the crossbows. Thank crossbowmen. But in any case, we won. We rolled over him. We have taken Sitis. We've gotten a Fertility Festival in Endless Plain, and we're working on destroying the fort in Phlegra. Lightly damaged, more time required to break down. So we're not breaking in super quick, but we are breaking in. We've got 125 siege strength, moving in another 29 next turn, and the turn after that we'll have another about another 50 units, mainly crossbows, so this army is building up rapidly. And we've got our 3 assassins, and our 3 assassins are sneaking into Manish territory, which should be all kinds of fun. Up here, we've got 2 more assassins equipped. One of them has a Coral Blade, and one of them has the Scepter of Authority. So the Scepter of Authority dude is going to be set to combust a couple times. And Flavius is just going to be set to attack closest. And those 2 are going to move north, because I don't like this whole relay business. Actually, they might move over here. I might split them up. I don't like this relay business, and he's got a bunch of Star Children over here that I may want to murder, but we'll see what happens with that. My assassins, yeah, I guess I will move them north. Just move them up like that. I've got 1 more assassin to equip. I am going to forge him. Serpent Chris is a pretty useful one. Not sure what I'm going to forge him. Handful of Acorns is always good. Bows can sometimes be good, like the True Shot Longbow or whatever it is can actually be shockingly effective. Just Man's Cross, not so much. It's only precision 4. There's a longbow that basically always hits, and so if you use it, then that's actually reasonably okay in assassinations. Also, I've empowered a Blood Mage, and he is going to forge himself a Sanguine Dowsing Rod, and then he's going to go over here and quietly start blood hunting. And we will use him to start getting some blood slaves put together and try to break into being late age Marignon in the Middle Age, which would be pretty neat. We do need to recruit another Grand Master, so I'm going to cut down on the crossbow spam a little bit there in order to get a Grand Master going on. Don't need to cut down on the crossbow spam quite that hard. There we go. Over here, I'm not upgrading that to a citadel just yet. Am upgrading that to a fortress. I need to get a lab built here. Next turn, I will start recruiting enchantresses. The fact that I'm waiting 1 more turn doesn't matter, because building to a fortress will make it 2 turns. And if I started recruiting her right now, it would take 3 turns. So we're going to get enchantresses, and that will break us into the other magic paths in a pretty big way. A little bit late in the game, unfortunately, but we're getting there. We are doing it. We're doing the thing. Down here, not scared of this army anymore. 220 units versus my 100 and some odd doesn't scare me, since I have this much fire elemental support and flaming arrow support. Haven't seen any Manish armies materializing, which is interesting. So that appears to have been entirely a bluff, which is fine by me. That's Fukan. I don't know where Man is. I don't think. So we're gonna keep moving in to try and find Man. It must be in here somewhere. And we'll see where that can be. And in the meantime, we're doing pretty well. We've got a whole bunch of troops over here that I don't really need to have in this location. So I think I'm gonna give a bunch of them to Rides here, and Rides will take them off somewhere, like down this way-ish. I will want to take that province at some point, although it's probably not very valuable, to be honest. And of course, Phlegra. We'd love to have Phlegra. Up here, we've got a great big army sitting around with not much to do. We're moving Thramul, who has just healed himself, back in to heal other people of diseases. There are many diseases to heal. This is the cost of invading Sitis. What I may actually want to do is leave Thramul here. Have him hide. And then take my diseased commanders over there without any units, so that they can be healed. So you don't have any units, you don't have any units, you've got some units that will need to stay, and you've got units. Yeah, so do that. All the rest of y'all, you can, I guess, research for right now. That kicks my research up by a pretty significant amount. We're stuck over here. I have a non-aggression pact with Abyssia. I don't think I technically... I do have a non-aggression pact with Uruk, so I can't invade them either. So I don't need this big army up here. I do need some province defense in this province, but, I mean, like, what you gonna do? I'll have Jeannie Adams patrol for right now. And set a star. And that will be fine. Now, I can't actually teleport from here. So, like, I can teleport 6 provinces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can teleport down to the capital with my, with Gaelny. And I may do that. I'm thinking I probably will. Just leave the troops here, because you can't take them with you. But let's drop a teleport and get down here to Mari. Up here, instead of researching, actually, I'm gonna have these guys start casting augury. Yeah, drop an augury there, drop an augury there. That'll be fine. That runs me out of fire gems. And then Turgan. Why don't I move Turgan around to start site searching for fire and astral? That'll be... Actually, no. You research. Move Guide around to start site searching for fire and astral. And Guide, you don't need that many units, I don't think. Leave the crossbows, take the knights. And just cast Blessing on them a couple times. Yeah. And take like 10. And put 5 of them in a guard commander slot. There, like that. Now Guide can move around and site search. Great. Okay, that will be the plan. For research, hitting construction level 6, then conjuration level 6. Conjuration level 6 will get me my harbingers, which I will be able to start getting immediately, I think, because I should be able to... At level 6, I should be able to forge Starshine Skullcaps. I can forge Crowns of Command, which are pretty cool little neat items. And I'll want to be getting Flame Helmets at some point as well. Don't have any Fire 4s yet. And get a Fire 4. 25% of Grandmasters are Fire 4, so that'll be fine. That will push me up to get that the Flame Hat. And after that, I will need to... What I'll want to do is empower a Death Random in Fire, so that I can get the Skull of Fire. Give that to a Fire 4 random wearing a Flame Helmet, so then he can cast Eternal Pyre and kick my Fire Gem income through the roof. It would be a lot easier to do that if my Fire Gem income were actually good, which it's not. Like 5 Fire Gems for Marignon on turn 33 is pretty sad. I have not been site searching heavily enough in Fire, and it shows. It really, really does show. I need to get better at that. But all my mages are currently being used, mainly down here and up here. I have tons and tons and tons of mages in both places, so got to get on the Fire research train. In any case, that is basically going to be the turn. Aravia is empowering in... What is Aravia empowering in? What is she empowering in? Oh, that's right. She's empowering in Death. She's empowering herself up to Death 2, so that I can then use her to forge Skull Staffs, break up to Death 3, and start doing some real good, heavy, high-powered Death stuff, which will be pretty neat. So, that's about all I've got for right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in turn 34, where the Siege of Phlegra will continue, and we will strive to end up with 3 capitals. May turn on Uruk next. Might do that. Wouldn't be terrible. It will depend on whether Man is going to attack me or not. So, in any case, thanks for watching. I'll see you next turn.